is THF on November 19th, year of our Lord 2020. Thanksgiving coming up. We'll probably only do one show next week. Next Thursday, Ravens at Steelers. Guess the line. Guess the line.
It's at Steelers.
At Steelers.
Steelers -4.
Steelers -2.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Take that.
You heard it.
It's going to go crazy the other direction. Get it before it goes up to like 6.
Yeah, we'll take, there's one tip for next week. We'll get into this week. No Scotty tonight, but Zach and I will do Boardwalk. Zach, you made the sharp play Monday night. Minnesota over Chicago, 19-13. Anything from that game in general? I know you didn't watch much of it. I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anything? The Bears' offense, like in today's NFL, they had less than 200 total yards.
Yeah, I tried to snipe Madison from you when we thought for about 30 seconds that Dalvin Cook was injured.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook fumbled and landed on the ball. It was like a classic knock the wind out of you. And I screamed, fuck. Zach realized what I was screaming fuck about. Immediately picked up Alexander Madison. Respect it. Luckily, Dalvin Cook wasn't seriously injured. But yeah, Vikings are kind of back, I would say.
They're not back.
They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
We'll get into some picks. Zach has a nice lead. I think it's about 2. I haven't done the math on this one yet, but about 2.5 on Scotty, about 4.5 on me, maybe. Don't quote me on it, but quote me on it. All right, first game. Atlanta at New Orleans. Nolans, 4.5-point favorite. Then over-under of 52.
It's moved to 4 already.
Oh.
Yeah, and I like them at 4.5,
Ooh.
so I love them at 4. It's -113 odds at Lawrenceburg, which you know that we use at -4 right now. Yeah, I want to stay away from that over/under because it could be New Orleans could go to town on the defense.
Right.
If New Orleans defense can stop Tampa Bay, I don't think they have any troubles with Matty Ice and
New
crew.
Orleans is due a sleepwalk game, and I thought it was going to be last week, and it kind of was for a first quarter. They were down 10-0 to San Francisco and Nick Mullins, and then scored 27 unanswered to cover that big number.
Yeah.
I love Atlanta here.
You do?
Yeah, the look-ahead line for this game last week.
Mm-hmm.
So last week, the spread was 6.5. So it's only a 2-point adjustment for no Drew Brees, and you have an Atlanta team playing exceptionally well, covering left and right. They should have won 4 straight had it not been for the accidental Todd Gurley touchdown. You see, the Atlanta's so cheap to get right now because of all the blown 99% chance of winning games. The Dallas earlier in the year, the Detroit game, the Chicago game to Nick Foles. Chicago's offense hasn't looked even close to that all year. Like Atlanta, getting the points. Next game, Philly and Cleveland. Cleveland -3 total, 48. Zachary.
This one's tough.
It's very tough.
Cleveland, Philly. Cleveland is it's so weird. Like they're 6-3. The performance against Houston, like any good team can beat Houston, I think pretty easily. I guess take Cleveland -3. Philly looked really bad against the New York Football Giants, who I can't decide if they're sneaky good or what the deal is with them. I really don't know. But yeah, I think I'll take Cleveland -3 here with the opportunity for a push if they win by a field goal, which happened last week.
Yeah, and Cleveland's had 2 of those. So at Cincinnati, they scored a late touchdown to win, missed the extra point, would have covered 3.5. 3.5 last week. Nick Chubb goes out of bounds, screws everybody. I'm going to take the under 48. And this was my reasoning for the Chicago game. It's my don't be tardy to the party.
It's down to 47.5, by the way.
Jesus. All right, so I'm good. I'm happy I'm on the right side of those two so far. This is my don't be tardy to the party total of the week of the year. TM. So Chicago game, it was like every week Chicago, like under. Monday night I was like, fuck it, under Chicago, no matter
Easy.
what. I didn't sweat. The only time I sweated was sweat.
You had a team total, didn't you, in that game?
Minnesota under 23,
right,
which kind of hit with ease, too. I was never worried about that, really. The only time I sweat was you get a defense or an instant long touchdown, and right out of the gate, Chicago had a kick return touchdown to start the third quarter. That's what worried me a bit, and then I realized how bad Nick Foles and that Bears offense was. So Cleveland, under 48, their last 2 games, both at home. Raiders, way under, 16-6. Houston, way under, 10-7. Looking at the forecast week, Sunday, 60% chances precipitation in Cleveland with about 15-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, I like under 48. All right. Next game, Tennessee at Baltimore. Baltimore laying 5 at home. Over-under set at 49.5. Zach, you want to start with your team?
I'm taking Tennessee +5. Baltimore's on a skid here, and it doesn't seem to matter if they're playing at home or away. They're playing it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter if they're playing bad defenses or good defenses.
We'll win because they've played some good defenses the past couple weeks.
I don't know if I would call the Patriots a good defense.
Well, yeah, but that's the one exception because it was a monsoon.
Yeah. I think I've said this for a while. I think Pittsburgh's defense is overrated. But in any case, they're on a skid here, and I think this is the game that gets, especially if they don't see the end zone very much. Then I think this is the game where Greg Roman gets the axe.
Wow.
If they don't see the end zone very much, if it's a close loss, they have a couple touchdowns. It's just something comes down to like a big Derrick Henry break or something.
Zach, you're my Ravens insider. What's our Calais Campbell status update?
Oh, I haven't the slightest idea.
That's okay. He doesn't move the needle much, but he does help on defense. Obviously.
He does, especially the run game where that's going to be most important this
Derrick
week.
Henry. That's what I am.
That whole running back core, they can run all over people.
Zach, make the pick for me. Do I take over 49.5 or Ravens team total over 26.5? Because the Titans defense is terrible. They don't get pressure. They can't stop the run. They can't stop short passes. They're historically awful on third down. What's giving me pause is the Ravens defense, if they're going to show up. And I can see Derrick Henry going off, or I can see the Ravens. The Ravens look so bad in New England that you take them here, and you're fading the public, by the way, because Baltimore opened -7, and it's down to 5.
Yeah.
So
I would have loved to got +7. That would have been amazing.
Right.
I would take.
I love the Ravens offense here because I think Lamar was sneaky good throwing the ball against New England.
Yeah, I think that's the one you should go with.
All right, Baltimore team total over 26.5.
I don't like it personally because I don't have faith in my team at this point in the season, but I don't want that to prevent you from a good feeling that you have.
I do have a good feeling on it, and you're getting it before the key numbers of 27 and 28. Green Bay and Indy, a 2.5-point favorite at home, total 50.5.
This one for me is easy. Packers +2.5. I would have taken the Packers -4 here. If I was still a betting man, I would take an alternate line, get juiced odds for like -2.5.
Yeah, flip it.
Yeah,
a pleaser.
Yeah,
pleaser.
Absolutely.
I like that. 5-point pleaser with Green Bay switches them to -2.5, and you can take this over up 5 points because it's going to hit over 50.5. Green Bay and Indy
up to 51 now.
Oh my God. Green Bay and Indy over 50.5.
You're getting these
over
all
51.
the right places.
It's a good feeling. That makes me happy. Indy's defense overrated, beating up against bad teams. You've seen Joe Burrow light them up. Lamar Jackson for a half. Cleveland hung 32 on them.
Yes, they
Tennessee should have if A.J. Brown catches the ball. Indy, overrated defense. They love to beat up on the Sam Darnolds and Nick Foles of the world. I think this game is a shootout. And on the flip side, Green Bay, what are they awful at on defense? Getting pressure. That's why they lost to Tampa Bay, along with their offense being bad. And Phillip Rivers, when he's not pressured, just like Thursday night against Tennessee, he can dink and dunk his way down the field at will. Over 50.5 to the moon Sunday night. Gary Underwood, Kansas City, -7.
Waiting all day for Sunday. It moved to 8.
Oh, my God.
I know.
-7 Kansas City at the Raiders.
What do you have the over-under at?
What do you have the over-under
56.5.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, cool. I'll kick this one off here real quick. I love the under in this. I think that it's not gonna be as big a shooter as everybody thinks. I think Kansas City jumps out to an early lead here, and Vegas just never catches up.
A scenario where you wait to play because it's probably going to go up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would wait, and this is what when I was betting, I was doing that. I was waiting until Sunday for most of these lines to move. And for the most part, except for last weekend on a couple teasers, it kind of worked out in my favor. So, yeah, I think wait as long as you can on the under, but if you see it move down to 56, I would take it.
Okay. Here we go. Easy for me. I'm laying a touchdown with Kansas City on the road. Andy Reid, historically amazing after a bye week. I think it's like 18-3 straight up after a bye. And I don't have the spread number exactly here, but I know it's good.
And it's Kansas City's only loss.
And exactly, I'm getting the
game.
revenge factor, and there was already chatter before the game.
That's not our style.
Exactly. Taking victory laps. I can't wake up Monday morning losing money on the Raiders, being like, how did I go against Mahomes? A revengeful Mahomes and Andy Reid off the bye.
Right.
And for some reason, I like when Andy Reid's happy, and him being like, we don't take victory laps, I pictured him sad, and that made me sad. So I like Kansas City laying a tutty and an extra point. All right, Zach, your bonus.
My bonus is going to be Kansas City -8 because, like I said,
you got a -7. Yeah.
-7.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah. Because the same reasoning that I like the under here. I think they jump out to an early lead and Vegas doesn't catch up. So I really do like you said, for all the reasons that you said, I think this is an easy bonus.
My bonus going to Washington.
Okay.
With the Cincinnati Bengals are playing. Over.
Joey goes to Washington.
Over
46.5.
Over 46.5. Reason being, the Bengals depleted defense. Only like 4 active cornerbacks against Pittsburgh. And Alex Smith getting his feet wet. Well, maybe just one. He probably doesn't have feeling in the other. Threw for 3-something against Detroit. The Bengals don't get pressure. I like Alex Smith to have a big day. Terry McLaurin, I'm going to look at over-under props for his receiving yards total because the Bengals secondary right now, nothing besides a few youthful linebackers that are showing promise, makes me happy with the Bengals because their secondary is so banged up. Also, Jesse Bates might be the best safety in the NFL.
Right.
At least that's what PFF says.
Never been wrong, honestly.
That's true. They watch every play. I don't. So I'm going over 46.5. Also a bounce back week for the Bengals offense after scoring 10 points in Pittsburgh. Zach, lock it up.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Dolphins here.
Let's do
go
it.
The Dolphins Broncos. Wish Scotty was here for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Also because of this. You look at the game against Bills, close loss, 31-28. You look at Jaguars, they put up 31 points on them. Then you go to Seahawks, loss, but again, ton of points there. 43 on the 49ers. Jets is a snooze fest. Jets are just bad.
They scored 24.
Right. They scored 24. Rams, they put 28 on them. They still let the Rams score 17. Cardinals game, crazy high. Chargers game, again, up there at 50. I think that this over at 45 is I think even easier than your Washington one. In my opinion, I think that it's criminally low. This over under. The fact that it's 1 point below the Steelers Jags is
this over under is giving respect to Miami's defense.
Yes, which as I just stated, I guess if you go back and look, that the only teams that they've allowed to score less than 20, Patriots in who they still lost in that, or no, Patriots scored 21. My bad. Well, so if you look at the Jaguars, bad team. 49ers, bad team. Jets, bad team. Rams, who knows?
Yeah.
So
Drew Lock might not play.
He might. I guess
that'd be tough.
But again, I mean, he's just threw 4 picks. Yeah. If you look at the games where
he's still an upgrade over Brett Ripien.
Yeah, but I think Ripien can still score. He's shown that.
And this bet works out for you if Miami's defense continues that crazy string of like Miami's points they've scored are like drastically kind of floozy with the especially the Rams, because the Rams might have the best defense in the NFL. Statistically, they're up there. And the Dolphins got 2 return touchdowns, returned a punt to the 1. Last week, in their win against the Chargers, returned a blocked punt to the 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're getting all these short touchdown drives or just defense and special teams touchdowns in general. And it is inflating. I'm not a Tua guy because I don't want to be, but it is kind of inflating Miami's. You look at his numbers, and they're not asking him to do too much. In terms of a winning standpoint, Miami's doing it perfectly. Let the defense rule the day and let
special teams get it done.
Let Tua
create space.
Let Tua be Tua. You're not doing a Bengals where Joe Burrow has to throw 60 times a game, you know. But yeah, I would proceed with caution, but the total is pretty low for a Miami team that's known to flip the field in a hurry.
Yeah, absolutely.
My lock, Jacksonville Jaguars plus 10.5. You getting 10.5?
Jacksonville Jaguars, they are 10.5.
10.5 at home against Pittsburgh, my favorite bet of the week, and solely on Pittsburgh overlooking Jacksonville because
the same way they overlook the Cowboys.
Because in 4 days they welcome in the Baltimore Ravens for a heated AFC North clash because there's no love lost in the ball pit. So big look ahead spot for a Jaguars team that has been frisky the last couple weeks. Almost beat Houston. Could have beaten Green Bay and Lambeau, lost by 4. Love Jaguars getting double digits at home.
AFC divisional round revenge game?
Damn it. Jaguars might have like 2 players still left from that. Like maybe
Miles Jack,
maybe?
Miles Jack, and I think that's it.
That has to be it.
Yeah,
Keelan Cole might have been on that team.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe somebody on their offensive line or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Who cares?
Right.
This is the 86 Scotty portion of the podcast. Not that we mind that style, obviously. We'll do our stand of the week and bunk of the week. We'll our start 'em, sit 'em, get you in towards the weekend. Zach, who is your stand of the week?
My stand of the week is, you know that like when you have that run up to Christmas and your mom texts you, she's like, "I need your Christmas list."
Yeah,
love it. Because then I get to be, oh yeah, here's all the things that, because it's so crazy because my mom she'll like I'll ask, a couple years ago I asked for a PlayStation 4. That's like all I wanted.
Right.
And she was like, okay, but if I do get that for you, that's all you're gonna get. And like, so Christmas morning we're there and like I'm getting like a couple of these presents and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't get the PlayStation. Not a big deal. I'm a grown man. I can buy one eventually.
Yeah.
And then I had told her that Jenna had needed a printer, and so she gives me this box. It's all big wrap box, and I open it and it's a printer box. And then I open up the printer box, and the PlayStation is inside the printer box.
You're hoping for a repeat this year?
I mean, I asked for an Xbox. We'll see.
Oh, an Xbox. Sorry.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's always nice. It's always you run down the list.
I can't remember the last time I gave my parents a list. I'm always just like, I was in college, and I was like, alcohol, or like, money. I've never gotten money for Christmas, but like since then I'm just like nothing. I don't know. I like being, if I give my Christmas list, it's like I know what I'm getting. I like to kind of be surprised. My mom does a pretty good job by herself, just kind of, I know I'll get a Bengals calendar every year.
There you go.
Yeah, and then like some clothes.
The Bengals should do a fireman's calendar.
Yeah, with just Joe Burrow and
Drew Sample
and Andrew Whitworth. Because he's a smoke show. My stand of the week. My stand of the week, Green Bay linebacker Kamal Martin.
Okay.
He deleted his Twitter account because he posted a link of a porn.
Whoopsies.
Oh, porno.
What was the porn? Do we know?
I think it was like Brandy Love in Blacked.
Oh.
Not a bad.
Okay.
Not a bad one. But yeah.
It's an aspirational tweet, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. But the thing is, like, if you accidentally tweeted porn, like, what's your next 15 minutes after you tweeted, like, say
I didn't know it.
Not 15 minutes.
I didn't realize how long until I tweeted it till I realized.
Right,
it.
that's my big thing here, because if it's 1 minute, obviously you just whatever.
Right.
Let's say an hour goes by.
Oh God.
An hour goes by. What do you do?
Well,
because I think deleting your entire Twitter is kind of drastic.
If you're famous and you have like a bunch of people following you, then it's probably that might be the route you have to go.
But I mean, even like just say it's you, and it's like obviously in an hour, people are gonna see it and they're gonna have screen grabs of it.
Yeah, I would probably go the I was hacked route.
Okay.
Because I've never done that before.
That was a close second.
It's an easy cop out.
That was a close second. See what if you go that route, if you go that route, Zach, let's say that I was hacked, then I think like you find out that someone lets you know that you tweeted porn, and just like then I would just fire off porn links like every 20 minutes. Be like, oh, see, I was definitely hacked. Look at this shit. Every 20 minutes, porno.
Yeah,
and
I have a VPN too, so I can like switch it to some other country, put the little geotag on, the geotag on there from like Romania or something.
Easy,
scot free.
Yeah, it's like I'm working on, and I mean, I would tweet these porn links for about 3 or 4 out, and like some crude shit.
Yeah.
Or my thing was like especially if I was him, and like you're famous, I'd just be like, I would obviously delete it.
Yeah.
And just steer into the skid. Be like, how many actually clicked on it? And like put up a Twitter survey poll. So like, yeah, something.
Yeah.
All right, you have a bunk.
Yeah. The bunk is whoever Rudy Giuliani's makeup
tough.
person is.
That was tough.
Because I'm a big sweater. You know that. I sweat a lot.
I do notice it.
Even when I'm not in stressful situations. So addressing a press conference like that, I would be similarly sweating. I just don't understand. I mean, you're an old guy. You're not like a fit old guy. So why do you need to dye your hair anyways? Just let it be gray. I don't understand it.
It's like people aren't going to, if you're 25 and have gray hair, but if you're his age, it's natural. Like, I don't know. No one's going to, I don't know. That seemed odd to me. Like, why do you even dye it in the first place?
Right.
My bunk was Michael Jordan. This was kind of, and I mean, we'll get to it. We're going to have, his name's Sully. His name's Sully, not to be confused with the famous pilot from the Talking Out Loud podcast later on in the show. And we'll talk NBA draft, but I've picked Michael Jordan just because my most surprising pick was LaMelo Ball at 3 to Charlotte.
Right.
And I don't have, I'm not a basketball guy. So the only thing I have to back that up is that, I'm so surprised Michael Jordan would want LeVar Ball around. And basically your son gets drafted there and you're as loud of a mouth as LeVar Ball. So he's basically he has an all-access pass.
Right.
And maybe he splits time in New Orleans and Charlotte because that's where Lonzo is, but it just seems odd to me Michael Jordan would like that kind of loud mouth. Because he knows you draft his kid, he's going to be around.
I bet he's going to try to get him traded to New Orleans.
I bet Michael Jordan's going to do a whole 0 fans the entire year for COVID.
Yeah.
And literally no one has access. But that just struck me as odd. Also, the whole, let's get into it, for the next 40 seconds. Is he a bad dad? Because, I know he's a loudmouth and, he says some egregious things. But it's you're a pretty decent dad if you got 2 kids in the NBA and another in the G League.
Both of them drafted in the top 3.
Yeah. So it's I wonder what a good dad would have done if 2 of his kids got drafted top 3 and another's in the G League. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be something there.
Right.
Congrats to him for having sex at least 3 times. I'll say that. Stardom, sit him. Zach, stardom.
My stardom is the NBA season. I'm so excited. I couldn't be more excited. I know you don't like it and blah, 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 blah.
But this is what you're feeling now is when we talk about baseball.
I know, I know. But I just, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just glad that they're starting in December. I pray to God that there's not a horrible moment again where Mark Cuban is looks at his phone. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But in college, just basketball in general, in college basketball betting primarily, I'm very excited to get back into that
after
my
from the NFL.
After my hiatus. Yeah, we'll coming out of retirement like Brett Favre.
Odds on you placing another NFL wager this year with your own money because I'm paying for your parlay.
I say plus 150.
Yes,
it's not entirely.
Yes, is plus 150.
No, is plus 150.
So it's plus 150.
Yeah.
So odds are saying you'll place a wager at some point.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how the playoffs go.
Playoffs, okay. All you can ask for. My stardom is backup running backs because starting running backs are dropping like flies out here. You got the Eagles running back situation. They just signed Jordan Howard, former friend who just got cut by the Vikings. Joe Mixon's not practicing again. Looks like Gio against Washington this week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out this week. Alvin Kamara didn't practice. Christian McCaffrey's obviously back to being injured. Just a backup running back deal. And I also saw a stardom could be good fantasy football drafters, because I saw a TikTok of like what the most common and excuse me if this is loud for just a quick second. All right, it was fine. I saw a TikTok. I think I saved it. Of like the first 3 weeks of the fantasy or the first 3 rounds of every fantasy draft. And yeah, I saw it now, where basically, every team in every fantasy league has injuries, and I think that's why most leagues you're seeing like a big bundle of like 5-5, 6-4, 4-5 teams,
right,
what have you. But yeah, so like the first 3 rounds of a 10-team league, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, both injured. Michael Thomas injured all year. Nick Chubb injured, IR. Aaron Jones injured. Joe Mixon injured. Miles Sanders, George Kittle, Austin Eckler, Kenny Galladay, OBJ, and Chris Carson all injured.
Wow.
And that doesn't even leave out the underperformers: Zeke, Chris Godwin, Lamar, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kenyon Drake, Mike Evans. I don't know about Mike Evans. He scores touchdowns. And Amari Cooper. So it's like the only people... So there's 30 picks on this post. The only people who have lived up to their expectations, there's 11. Todd Gurley, the last pick in the 3rd round.
Exceeded expectations.
Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, Patty Mahomes,
Derrick Henry,
Julio Jones, Josh Jacobs. I'm working back to the first round.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, and Dalvin Cook. So
did you say Josh Allen?
He was not a top 3 round pick.
He was in our league.
Well, yeah, I mean, standard league where it's one quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a sit-em?
Yeah, my sit-em is Nintendo, because there is this tournament that's held by the Big House for Super Smash Bros. Every year. It's the longest running Smash Bros. Tournament. And earlier this year, they had announced that they were canceling it, and then they decided we're going to hold it remotely, because normally it's in person, because the best way to play Smash Bros. Is on a LAN, a local area network, so you don't have any latency issues. And Nintendo served them a cease and desist simply because they were using the
C&D, bitch.
Right. Yeah, they got C&D because they were using this program that is not Nintendo doesn't like it for whatever reason, because they're using this program that's going to connect the players to each other so that there's no latency lagging issues. But that's the only reason why. I thought it was going to be like, they don't want people gathering in COVID and all that kind of stuff for these tournaments. It was like it had nothing to do with it. Just some stupid technobabble bullshit that they told them they couldn't. So now the people are missing out on thousands of dollars in winnings because they send them a cease and desist.
Tough sledding.
Yep.
My sit-em: haircuts. Justin Herbert, bad look. And, I mean, the guy wasn't very attractive to begin with, and now it looks like he is like... I wanted to, like, we should each pull up a picture and just be like, here's what he looks like a blank. But obviously we're not prepared enough, and I just thought of it. Maybe we'll do that Monday. That'll be funny. That could be part of your stand-up bit.
Oh, God.
But he just kind of looked Columbine-y. With the new haircut, and it's not a good look at all. I'm such a hat guy anyway, but that was like, if anyone ever needed a hat. Well,
as someone whose hair is receding and thinning quickly, I can't wear hats anymore, really, unless it's like 5 degrees outside. I might have to become an earmuff guy. Because when I put on a hat, my head instantly sweats, but when I take it off, the hair freezes.
Yeah.
Which is... my head looks like a big steaming thing of broccoli.
You could be a beanie guy then.
I love beanies.
I do too.
But like I said, I can only wear them if it's like 5 degrees outside.
Off the beaten path here, off topic. Is it where we're at in Ohio? Is it beanie, toboggan, skull cap?
I've always called like what you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
I've always called that a beanie.
Yeah.
If it's got the little poofy thing on top,
does mine?
No.
Okay.
If it's got the little poofy thing on top, I call it a toboggan.
Okay. That's fair.
I've never called it a skull cap because I feel like...
I'm not from Oakland.
Right. Well, the only people that wear skull caps are guys who wear, like, those glittery jeans and Affliction t-shirts.
And I have another sit-em. Golden State Warriors NBA championship futures.
Yikes.
Tough. I was... Literally, we talked about it last night. The Warriors were 8-1 or 6-1, one of the two. Even number.
I had it right. I think I said I was close. It was plus 700, plus 800, something like that.
Yeah, you said plus 750, and it was 800. So, yeah, you were spot on it. But I was, like, thinking about it yesterday. I was like, I would do that. I mean, name a more motivated team than the Warriors. I mean, one of the more motivated teams. And then Achilles heel. Klay Thompson's Achilles heel was his Achilles heel, it turns out. Torn Achilles heel, and now Golden State's, what are their odds now, Zach? Mr. Futures.
Plus 1,100.
2,000.
Wow.
Tied with Toronto. Still the 7th highest.
Toronto did pretty well last year.
Yeah. This is to win it all, though, and I think they're so you could get Golden State. I'm guessing it's cut in half to win the Western Conference. Plus 1,100 to win the Western Conference.
I saw something interesting where it said...
I doubt that.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I saw that it was like there are like 4 2018 All-Stars with Achilles tears. Klay Thompson, KD, DeMarcus Cousins, and one other I can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, it was like 4. It was like it's a tough crowd to be in.
Now we'll go to our Bachelorette review. Episode 6 was Tuesday night. Of course, we watched it. We watch everyone.
Juicy,
pretty decent.
I thought it was better than last week's episode. Last week's episode felt kind of boring to me a little bit.
There was no Claire in this episode for the first time.
She was in the preview.
Oh, she was.
Or not the recap, but that's it.
Okay, yeah. So no Claire in this one. So I mean, we didn't get any Claire Dale babies. I hated that quote. As a person who doesn't want to have kids.
Cheers that.
Yeah. Okay. We get episode 6. What stands out? Because my biggest thing is Ed.
I finally figured out his name.
Well, I said that a couple episodes ago. I found out his name too. Ed is, gotta give him credit because he didn't back down.
He's playing the game.
Yeah. And even when, like, Chasen would come apologize to him, he was just like, he'd double down. He'd be like, I'm not accepting your apology. Chasen's like, I'm coming to you as a man. He's like, that's cool. You're a fraud. Yeah, so Ed, like, maybe, like, this is a good... Maybe Ed just pulled off the greatest train dodge since Stand By Me.
Well,
River Phoenix, R.I.P.
2 of them, he had that one, and then he's like, I've got chronic... dislocating shoulders.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But my thing with Ed was he pulled off a big reversal because it was like, I've never been more confident that a guy wasn't going to win the Bachelorette, and this is the first time I've watched the show, than Ed. No chance he wins. And it was like he went from like, we don't even know his name, to they can't get him off the screen.
Right.
Because he's starting drama in the house. Not a bad way to get your name out there, I'll give him that. But yeah, he didn't back down. The challenges. Harvard guy. Brennan?
Bennett,
excuse me. Not good.
I don't buy it.
I was going to say that. Do you think? Yeah,
staged,
absolutely staged. Like it almost
he threw the math.
Well,
portion.
It almost seemed perfect that he was like, I went to Harvard, so I don't think I'll have and like everyone got every question right except for him. I thought that was staged. In the end, it doesn't matter because he still gets the Realest Man Award or Best Man Award for his
Grown Ass Man
Award. What would you make what's the girl's name? Tasha? What would you make her for breakfast in bed? Go.
Oh, got an omelet probably.
Yep, same here.
Yeah.
Only thing I know how to make.
She seemed to like bacon, and
I respect that.
I'm really good at making bacon's not really that hard to make, but
just kind of sit there.
Right, exactly.
It's like, I guess I could flip it now. It doesn't really matter.
I just in Bennett style, I actually, if I had a blender, I could make a mean shake or like smoothie.
That's another thing. It's like
it's really easy.
It's really easy and it looks good.
And it tastes good.
And yeah, strawberries, yogurt, banana, like it's so easy.
Banana and peanut butter are undefeated. Throw a protein powder in there.
Yeah, I want to learn how to make crepes.
Yeah, my dad. You have to have a specific.
Of course you do.
Skillet.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. You said that.
Yeah,
done.
He's like a really thin pancake.
Yeah, Talladega Nights. And then of course Ed, the biggest bitch move that like, and another maybe potentially staged moment is that like, wouldn't as soon as Ed saw the octagon or whatever, like he'd be like, I can't be in it. They like wait until he's announced to fight Chasen, that he goes up to. I hate the host.
Chris.
What's his last name? Harrison?
Harrison, yeah.
Can't stand him. I don't know why. He looks like a falcon. Yeah, goes up to Chris Harrison. He's like, I have shoulders, whatever, like injury or whatever. And then Bennett also had a leg injury he couldn't do from an old football, old rugby injury when I was in the quad and my team was down by...
It's my old rowing crew injury.
Yeah, like I could barely put on a sweater vest for 6 months. Yeah.
I'm just like you. I put on my Docksiders one leg at a time.
Yeah, anything else from this sode?
Yeah, I think that like I feel bad for Chasen a little bit. I hate Chasen.
I hate Chasen.
I felt bad for him here because it's like it's none of Ed's business that he said the 2 same adjectives or whatever verbs about Tayshia that he did about Claire. That's none of his business. And for him to be like, oh, he's fake, he's fraud, all this stuff to him, and then he got mad at him for it, which is perfectly fine. And then she's like, she totally just believes Ed with zero evidence, and is like, Chasen, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, it's like,
and then
you seem defensive. It's like, well, yeah,
and then Chasen goes back to Ed, and he's like, what the hell, man? And Chasen's sitting there with that stupid baby, like just sitting there like, he's towering over me. You don't need to be like this. And then goes off to Tayshia again.
That was Ed's whole thing. His one-on-one time with Tayshia was not about a relationship.
He said, I don't want to drop names or anything, but Chasen's a fucking piece of shit.
I would never drop names, Chasen.
I would never drop Chasen names.
Chasen payments. But yeah, Ed didn't back down, so respect him for that. But also Chasen, she's like, you seem defensive. He's like, yeah, I'm defensive. Like,
I'm defending myself.
Yeah. I'm gonna now it's either I'm in love with 2 people or I'm here for Instagram followers. Ed, pick one. And yeah, it was just the whole thing was kind of shaky.
He's just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what'll stick.
And to Tayshia, everything's sticking because the rest of the episode was kind of.
That's what she said. Was
kind of like, oh, they had good dates. Straight Jacket guy got eliminated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
That was him?
Yeah, he was kind of growing on me. And there was even funny that the people got eliminated, and there were a few I didn't even know.
And then Caleb, is that the new Noah, mustache boy,
shaved.
Yeah, well, yeah. She's like, you need to go shave, and then he's like, okay, and then he's like gone for like an hour, and then he comes back and he hasn't shaved yet.
Right.
And then he goes and shaves.
He interrupts a date.
Yeah, he didn't even. He had the gall to interrupt a date.
A date he shouldn't have been on.
Right.
What do you make of the So, what's his name? The mustache guy?
Noah.
No, thank you. What do you think of him adopting the Blake approach of jumping in and being bold? What's your stance on, if you're not in the group date, staying out of the group date, gentleman's code?
Only if it's Blake.
Yeah.
It's
because if you violate gentleman's code, it seemed to be like it's batting 1,000 right now.
It's like, how many times can Easy say it's all bets are off?
Yeah.
It's like, this is a free for all now. He's like said the same thing when Blake did it, and now he's saying it again with Noah. He's like, oh, I guess we're playing by no rules. I was like, yeah, I thought we were like 3 episodes ago. Yeah,
so Noah hops over the octagon fence to fight for Claire, even though it
wasn't an octagon, it was just a square.
Oh, okay.
The squared circle.
And even though he wasn't on that date to fight Chasen even beats him, Noah still gets the rose. So drama there, big drama. And
Noah got the rose, but Chasen got the belt. And honestly, I'd rather have the belt.
They teased in the next episode that Noah gets into some more stuff. So maybe we're off Ed onto Noah.
How many times can Chasen say the claws are coming out? My Wolverine's coming out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Wolverine. I was trying to pucker my lips. Pucker one lip and the other lip's normal. Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up for that. Anything else from this sode? I
don't know. It was like it was
a lot of like we had good days.
There was dips and dives. There was good parts, and I don't know.
I was pretty disappointed when Ed chickened out of that.
Yeah.
I was like, and they were building it up. Ed Chasen was going to be the main event.
He chicken-legged out of it.
Yeah.
I love how they kept making fun of him like he skips legs day.
Yeah, he was like,
That's like, this guy just has glamour muscles, and then they showed him in the front yard like,
and he squints his face like a little rat. That's how if I dedicated my body to get in shape, it would just be glamour muscles.
Yeah,
wouldn't give a shit else. I like when Ed, like, out of all the things Chasen said to him, she's just like, well, what did you do? Like, what did he say? He's like, oh, he said I had chicken legs. Like, that was the only thing he said. Forgot this one. Chasen dropping the smoke show line.
A lot.
What do you think if Tasha finds out he said that? Would that be like an immature thing? Because the guys were just like put off, like, I would never talk about it.
Well, he's already on thin ice because she thinks he's fake. So I think coming from him, she's not going to like it.
It doesn't help that he looks fake.
Right. Now, if somebody else said it, like, I think if, like, Noah said it or Easy said it, like some of the younger guys said it.
Noah could get away with anything right now. They're
right.
Like, it made me feel young because he's like, oh, he's 25. Like, he could just. I was like,
I feel bad for who's the one guy who he was like they were doing the one-on-ones at the end of the day, and he's like, I'm just gonna wait till everybody goes, and then we're just gonna have a drink and relax and talk about the day and everything. And then it comes to the end of the day, and she's like, what the hell, we're out of time.
I was disappointed you didn't come find me. He's like, I thought everyone would get a fucking turn.
Yeah,
we got Stashio.
It's like, well, it's been 5 episodes. And he's been there the whole. He's one of the OGs.
Yeah.
You should know by now that
There's
not everybody gets a turn.
Yeah, there's no honor code.
Right.
And that's another one. Like I can pinpoint all these moments where if it was me, I would cringe and I'd probably just walk myself out. And that was one of them where he's like, "Can we go talk for a second?" She's like, "We're out of time. I'm actually disappointed in you." That's one of the ones I would have probably walked away from.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Alrighty.
We welcome on a very special guest. It is Sully, or as we know him on Twitter, at Sully, my good name. You can catch him on the Talking Out Loud Dayton Flyers podcast. He's also on...
Loud is spelled L-O-W-D.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then ESPN Radio 1410 in Dayton, Thursdays from 6 to 7 Eastern. How you doing, Sully?
Doing well, guys. Thursday is my radio day where it's podcasting, being on the radio pretty much all day. So my significant other's getting quite sick of it. But you know what? Like nobody said podcasting life was easy, fellas.
We get it. You have a significant other.
It's not as glamorous as they make it out to be.
Yeah. I begrudgingly bring that up because, now I have to share my bed every day, and I really liked the space before. So it was a begrudging point that I brought up.
Well, all right. Well, you get some rest after the NBA draft last night. I'm guessing that's a long night for you.
No, you know what? Like, it was kind of nice that I didn't have to watch the whole draft, right? The only part that was really relevant to me was the first 40 minutes, and frankly, it should have been like 10 minutes, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but they drug out the draft last night.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Obi was picked number 8. I think he didn't get picked until, like, 7:50 Central, maybe 7:50. It was 55 minutes. We only got through 7 picks. So no, I had a quite an enjoyable night. There was friends over for dinner, and so right when like Obi got drafted, I just shut the TV off, and then I was good to go, man. That's all I needed to see.
So are you a Knicks fan now?
Yes, by default I kind of have to be, right?
I
mean, it's just like I don't have anything for the Knicks, but I'm from Pittsburgh, so we don't have an NBA team, so I can constantly latch on wherever, and so we'll see.
Right. So how exactly did you feel? Where did you think he was gonna go, and where did you want him to go? Personally, I will start it off. I thought he was gonna go to Detroit, which I was very excited about. That's only a 3.5 hour drive from where I live. I wanted to see him in Detroit with the healthy Blake Griffin. I thought that would have been nice to see, but didn't work out that way. And my worst fear, obviously, I think for most Dayton fans, unless you talk to Drunk Anthony Grant, he likes their merch. I really didn't want to see him go to New York just because it's a horrible front office, a historically bad.
They had a good draft last night.
Yeah, I mean they overhauled the front office for this purpose, right? To kind of start over. They didn't change the owner. I mean, Dolan's still the owner, so they'll probably still be a trash organization like they have been. But at least they made it's. I kind of put the Knicks in like the Pirates. Just being from Pittsburgh, like they can overhaul the front office, which the Pirates just did as well, but you still have the same owner. And in baseball, it's like, you have to go out and spend money. The NBA is a little bit different because it's with salary cap, but yeah, they still have the same owner, so we'll see what happens. But I personally, selfishly, wanted him to go to the Bulls because I live 1 mile away from the United Center. And I thought he was actually going to go to the Cavs, truth be told. I was certain he was not going to go to the Hawks or Pistons. It didn't really make sense for me scheme-wise with the Pistons because, frankly, I'm not doing a player comp, but Obi Toppin is Blake Griffin who can shoot. Like, he dunks the ball a lot. He can be tenacious to get rebounds. He's kind of a big, lanky four. I don't really understand what you would gain by putting Obi Toppin on the court with Blake Griffin, is my point.
Well, yeah, I think starting out early, and you would have him as coming in for Blake Griffin, I think. And then Blake Griffin's a little bit older. He's not going to be there forever. They may have to ship him off before he is devalued. So I think in my mind that's where I saw it. But I think that he would have worked out better with them than with Cav Shelby you brought up the other day, with Andre Drummond and Kevin Love already on the team. I see kind of a similar situation where there's not much room for him on the Cavs either.
Yeah, and I don't think there was a ton of room for him on the Cavs. I just thought that they would take a flyer on him because, just because of who he was, and plus it's such great marketing. Like, if we've learned anything about the Cavs, they go all in on marketing, and I thought to myself, well, if they're really committed to the business side of it, Obi would make perfect sense. But, it's so funny. When I'm watching the draft last night, we get to pick 4, and then he didn't go to the Bulls. And then as soon as he didn't get picked by the Cavs, I'm putting my head down. I go, he's gonna go to the Knicks. And then sure enough, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I like after each draft, no matter what league it is, I like to give everyone. I like the articles that give everyone a grade, no matter what, even though they haven't played in the NBA yet. And James Wiseman, he hasn't played since 2011 in meaningful basketball. That could be off a year or two. So I gave everyone a B- last night. Fair or unfair? Go.
Every team gets a B-.
Every single team. Oh, Sixers get a B.
Without watching the draft at all, I would say it's wholly accurate.
All right. Yeah. I thought so. I just needed a guy who works out and has a significant other in a bed to confirm it.
Yeah, like somebody with credence, right? Yeah,
sure.
I got it.
And then also another point. I was surprised that Charlotte took LaMelo Ball. That's who? Yeah, LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
I have nothing to back it up other than I just thought that Michael Jordan would not want LeVar Ball having an all-access pass to the organization. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, on its head, that logic makes sense, right? I have not commented on LaMelo Ball on any podcast or otherwise because
exclusive.
I don't think I've ever seen him play a game. Honest to God, there was that one video that went around where he scored 90 points because he just hung out at half court because I guess the team sucked. So he's like, I'm not going to play defense. You guys can handle it. And,
right, like his high school tape?
Yeah, whatever the hell. It was before he went overseas. But since he's gone overseas, I haven't watched a single minute of tape on him. So yeah, do I think it's plausible that Michael Jordan wouldn't have wanted LeVar Ball's crap around his organization? Yeah, Michael Jordan's a no BS kind of guy. But do I have any, will I opine on them picking him basketball-wise? No, I don't even know what he brings to the table, to be quite honest with you. And I'm happy to report that because the Ball family really makes me angry, mostly just their dad. Lonzo seems okay.
Well, I mentioned this to Zach. Is LeVar, I've heard him be called a bad dad and a loudmouth, which is he's undoubtedly a loudmouth. Is he... If a bad dad has 2 kids drafted top 3 in the NBA and another one's in the G League, is he kind of a good dad?
Yeah, I'm not gonna opine on what kind of dad he is. That's for message board heroes. But as far as the persona he puts off and the way that he conducts himself in interviews and really just his antics, I think he's childish. I think he's goofy. I just think he's an idiot. And I think that his sons would have seen success without these antics, and they have seen success in spite of him, not because of him. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. real quick, we're gonna hop right back to Dayton real quick because I'm very excited to have Sully on here. And I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but just for our podcast's sake, where were you on the day the sky fell, and what was your immediate reaction?
I was at work. I still had a job. I wasn't doing this full time. And I tell the story pretty often because I went to work like a normal day, and my backpack was full with my stuff for the weekend, and I was going to leave work early about 4 o'clock, go out to O'Hare, and then fly to Brooklyn for the A10 tournament. So my flight was actually that night. And so got to work, I guess this was about 8, 9 o'clock Central, and that's when the rumbling started, right? And then I believe the AAC was first to cancel, and then by 11:15 the A10 had pulled their teams off the court, and that's when I kind of knew like it was all crumbling beneath me. What was my reaction? I used to work in a WeWork building, and so there's a lot of lounges on each floor. I went to one that I know that nobody would ever be in, and I kid you not, I sat down in like one of those big comfy chairs that are typically in office lounges, and I just kind of sat there looking out the window with my head in my hands for 20 minutes probably.
Right.
And I thought nothing just then other than like, how could this possibly happen? That was the only thing that was going through my head. But I'll always remember the view of what I saw for my whole life.
I was at, you remember the old Canal Public House, which is now that deli with the arcades in it?
Yeah, I know that place.
I was having lunch there with my brother, and when they pulled the A10 teams off the court, and that was tough. To kind of equate this to you guys, I would say like this would be like your favorite team, like the Bengals they make the playoffs, and then they cancel the playoffs.
What?
Well, you guys would have actually gone to the playoffs.
It'd be more like the Browns making the playoffs.
Yeah,
less heartbreak that way.
Yeah, they would.
And I could just be like, oh, the Bengals were undefeated in regulation, and get a T-shirt like Dayton fans do.
No, get that crap out of my face.
Trivia question for the two Dayton fans on here: last team to beat UD in regulation in the regular season. So they lost in the NIT the first round of 2019 to Colorado by 5. Mm-hmm. Who was the last team to beat them in regulation in the regular season?
We're not talking the A10 tournament, which...
No, this would have been 2019. So it was...
Did we lose the VCU game?
Yeah, it was the home game against VCU because we lost Rhode Island in OT, that Trey Landers pickups. Yeah, it was VCU.
Yeah.
69-68 VCU.
Yeah.
Good job, Sully.
Was it early?
Yeah,
was it earlier in the season? Was it earlier in that season where we played VCU at home and hung like 100 and something on them?
No, that was the crap season. That was 18.
That was 18. Okay.
Yeah, that was when we were really bad. Yeah.
Two things about the NBA draft production. Are you a fan of Woj and Shams spoiling the picks like 90 seconds before they call it?
No, I'm sure you read my feed last night, and you know exactly how I feel about that. I think it's ridiculous.
Okay.
I think that they're ruining the draft, and I said this on ESPN radio this afternoon. I said I don't understand why you would let one of your own employees devalue the production quality of something that you're putting on your network. That doesn't make any sense to me. You know, you're trying to have the best quality NBA draft you can put out on your channel, ESPN, and then your reporters firing off what all the picks are 10 minutes before they happen. It's like, what does Woj gain by that? What does ESPN gain by that? It's a no sum, and frankly, it really epitomizes the dumb decision making that's happened over ESPN for the past, it seems like forever, but at least the past 5 years. They just continue to step on their own toes when it comes to putting out a quality product and not getting in the way of just literally letting it breathe on its own. It's ridiculous.
That's called heat. Lastly, is Adam Silver as big of an NBA fan as Roger Goodell is an NFL fan? Because we've seen 2 virtual drafts now, and I kind of like my commissioner like slumped down in his bunker, like progressively drinking throughout the night, and Adam Silver just seemed a little bit too professional to me.
Yeah, you know what? Goodell has this kind of like goofy guy next door that'll like come over and have a beer after you cut the grass type of vibe to him. Adam Silver just kind of skeeves me out. You know?
Well, he's already like on the Dayton shit list for saying
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of dead to me. I was going to say, he's kind of dead to me right now, to be honest. So you're not going to get a favorable opinion on him from me.
Scotty, go ahead. I know you have a question that you wanted to ask.
No, I didn't. I was just going to say something as it relates to picking or seeing the tweets of who's getting drafted. You know, when you make a bet and you Zach and Shelby hate when I put spoilers if we have an NFL bet of the over and then it hits.
Hate it.
Or they have the under and it hits the over and then I put it in the DMs and they get super pissed at me because they're behind. But I feel like it's the kind of the same way with the draft because, I am personally want to just check Twitter and get it over with. I want to know what the hell happened on the play before I watch it because it saves me either heartbreak or I can start celebrating early and not have my heart beating out of my chest. I assume it can kind of be like the same way with the NBA draft to see who's if the Nuggets, my team were picking, I'd want to just get it over and see who they were picking and then not have to let the draft just seem like it's exhausting itself like it was last night.
Why even watch?
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of different from you're on the other side of the fence, right? Like you just want to I'm the same way with the NFL draft. Most times I just want to see who the Steelers pick, and then all the stuff in between, who cares? But we're on the other side of it, where we're not waiting to see who our team gets. We're waiting for our guy to have his moment. Right, and so I didn't want that to be ruined because I didn't want to know 5 minutes ahead of time. I wanted to know as it popped up on the screen because I said on my podcast today that the coolest part about it was that Dayton fans got to live that moment the same way that Obi did. He was in a hotel room watching TV, and we got to live it as fans, and I thought that was the coolest part about last night, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, see that adds an extra variable because of the fact that Obi is Obi Toppin to Dayton fans are a little bit more personable or, is a little bit more connected to the fans than most, someone getting drafted from Kentucky because they have 3 dudes in the first round every year. So on that, so I get on that spectrum where it's okay, we don't want to hear anything and no spoilers. We want to see it happen in real time. So I see where that spectrum comes. But naturally, I think spoilers as far as just, Twitter goes, I think you could take it or leave it.
No, I get it, man. But, you have to keep in mind, too, that Dayton's quite literally never had a guy picked in the top 10, and it just happened last night. So it's a little bit of that, too.
Scotty, if you ever have a child, I'm going to find out the gender and just DM you on Twitter before the reveal, before you swing and miss at a baseball.
Are you going to assume my baby's gender? How do you know, it wants to be a girl or a boy?
Because that's my guy, and, it's a once-in-a-generation thing like Obi Toppin going top 10.
Well, I was speaking in general, not Obi specifically. Okay.
All right. Okay, so back to the draft. Aside from the Knicks, who we know were the biggest winners here, who is your second biggest winner and your biggest loser from the draft, Sully?
Winners and losers from the draft last night?
Your biggest winner besides the Knicks and your biggest loser.
And the Nuggets.
That's hard to say. I'm going basically off of what I read in The Athletic today.
Right, because you stopped watching after the 8th pick, I guess.
Yeah, I had that's what I mean. I'm not an NBA guy through and through. But I can always take this time to crap on Philadelphia. I'm sure the Sixers had a terrible draft. I'm sure they did. I'm certain of it. No, I'm sure they did. Just wait. Those dolts have been trusting the process for 7 years, and now they can trust the process to another process, and then they can just keep spinning their wheels. So I'll go with that.
Shelby
Sixers had a horrible night, and let's say, the Warriors didn't either. Oh man, it's hard. The Bulls.
I think that
never do.
I would say the Nuggets they got a steal with R.J. Hampton. Trading into that pick that was Milwaukee's, that was then, I think it went to the Detroit or something.
To New Orleans, and then New Orleans.
And then New Orleans sent it to Denver. Yep. I think, and for them to get R.J. Hampton, I think got undervalued because he decided it kind of backfired because he decided to go play in New Zealand, and nobody cares about New Zealand basketball. So
Zach, you're so back. Yeah. You're so back on your great takes. That was so good. You're winning.
Well, and again, and the other thing that always kind of baffles me about the NBA draft is how disconnected it really is from college basketball. I mean, even in the first round tonight, there was really no blue blood type of guys, right? And the NBA, for whatever reason, is starting to develop a lot of this talent of guys that played in smaller schools like Damian Lillard and McCollum, and John Morant's been great out of Murray State recently. But
the robot, the cyborg himself, Kawhi Leonard, where'd he play?
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, San Diego State, exactly. You can rattle off these examples. There's countless numbers of them, right? But I have a trouble kind of looking at the draft and getting a good assessment of it after the fact, because there's just no continuity to college basketball. I'll give you a perfect example. The Bulls pick at number 4, Patrick Williams. The guy was the third best player on Florida State's team. I had never even heard of him until the Bulls picked him last night. He averaged 9 points a game for a fairly mediocre Florida State team. What? He's the 4th pick in the draft? That never makes sense to me, and I don't know. That's just because I don't really follow the NBA that much.
I don't think he ever started a game. I think he never started a game. He was the 4th overall pick. If I heard correctly, which was incredible.
It happens every year. There's a guy where they're Anthony Bennett was a perfect example where he got picked number 1, and I was like, who? At UNLV? What? Who cares? He averaged 19 a game. That was never, and then ended up being a big bust. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Overall fan of the November draft, because we usually have it a week after the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it was cool. I know this is kind of contradictory to what I just said, but it actually is kind of a great precursor to the college season starting, right? Because the season starts in a week. Typically, it'd be in the middle of June or the end of June when basketball's kind of done for a while. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of a cool little setting the stage moment where, hey, we're talking about basketball again because of the draft. Hey, next week we got college basketball. So, you know me, guys, if I can get any light shed a little bit brighter on college basketball, I'm all for it, man.
Absolutely. My last question for you here, Sully. We're going to shift one last time over to the NFL. We're going to talk about your Steelers. And Shelby can finally wake up from his nap. Okay, against
NBA, I'm useless, guys. We talk Steelers, I'm good.
All right, so Pittsburgh has a matchup at Jacksonville this weekend, as I'm sure you know. Is this a look-ahead game? Are they thinking more about their matchup with my Ravens on Thanksgiving, or is Ben locked in and is the minus 10.5 that they are a lock?
No, the minus 10.5 is definitely not a lock. I don't see this as a look-ahead game for the Steelers, just because I think that they had the right mentality. And, of course, I'm kind of speaking on what I just saw from Dayton. They had that, our goal's not 4-0 in A10 play. Our goal's not 8-0, and that was kind of how they handled the season. I'm starting to get the same vibe from the Steelers. I think if they're going to get beat, it's going to be by a good team. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are not a good team. When you have to start hearing things on sports radio this week where they're like, well, they're a plucky 1-8, or they're the feistiest bunch of 1-8 guys I ever seen. It's like, okay, well, take out the feisty part, and they're 1-8. Okay, they stink. So I don't see them looking ahead to the Ravens on Thanksgiving. And, Steelers is starting to hear rumblings, guys. 16-0 if they get through the next couple weeks. It's possible. But don't take the bet. Don't take the points. Something weird always happens in Jacksonville to the Steelers. So while I don't think they're going to lose, I don't think they're going to cover 10 either.
Yeah, I think the last time they played down there, Big Ben had a touchdown run with 2 seconds left to win the game. I don't know. It looked I don't know how he runs. But it seemed like Tomlin, they always have letdown spots against bad teams usually, where
almost happened in Dallas.
Yeah, they should have lost to Dallas. A few fortunate calls, I will say.
Sure.
But yeah, it just seemed like 10.5 seems easy to me. I think it's a perfect look ahead spot with there's no love lost in Ball Pit with the Ravens on Thanksgiving.
What are Mike Tomlin's plans for sideline hijinks in this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we'll see, fellas. We'll see. We'll throw a turkey leg at you guys or something,
All right. Thank you so much, Sully. I can't thank you enough. You provide Twitter gold every Dayton season, and it was a dream of mine to have you on my podcast. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, especially on Thursdays.
Nah, no worries at all, guys. Love to do it. Always fun just talking sports and whatever's going on, so always happy to do it.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Scotty is back. We have our snake draft Pickem. Scotty 23-17. I am 29-11. Zach has a 1-game lead at 30-10. That is the order. Scotty, me, Zach. Scotty, started off with your first pick.
Can I decline?
Peyton wants to make her pick for you.
Can I decline going first? because I feel like that's why I'm losing. Is because I have to wait. Because you guys get 2 easy games, right? On the third, I feel like the worst person should be almost having the third pick, right? Because you guys get
yeah. That's how the Bengals. That's why the Bengals got pick 32 last year.
No, you know what I mean. 1 game, but you guys get 2 of the top 5.
But you get 3 of the top 7.
I see what you're doing there, but 2, 3, and 4 are greater
listen,
than
if you
5,
want to go,
6, and
if you
7.
want to go second, I'll go first. I don't care.
I don't want to go second either. All right, I'll go first. Damn it, fucking.
Hey,
Steelers
after this week, we're gonna just draw them out of a hat.
Okay, that's cool. That's fair.
All right, what is it, Scotty?
I got Steelers.
Pitt over Jacksonville. I am taking the where's it at? There it is. Go with the Chargers over Jets.
Easy one.
I don't know. That kind of scares me.
You'd think, right? The Jets finally get their first win, and your hopes of the Jacksonville being the worst are alive again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take shocker here. I'm going Dolphins over the Broncos, and then I'm gonna follow that up with the Saints.
Drew Lock isn't playing, by the way.
Saints over the Falcons. Is
All
he definitely not playing, or you just think that?
It's doubtful.
I'm taking the hottest team in the NFL right now, Minnesota over Dallas.
Good pick. Good pick.
You see, I would have taken Minnesota. Now I can't. Because you did. That's my point. You know, I'm taking.
Take your Mahomie.
What?
Take your Mahomie.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs get swept, so I'm taking the Chiefs.
Good pick.
And then, And then I guess I'll go with. Oh man, this is a tough slate. I'll take Jameis Winston over Atlanta.
Zach picked that second.
I already picked that one, bud.
You picked New Orleans, really?
I sure did, yeah.
What's your problem, dude?
I want to win.
Green Bay over the Colts.
Green Bay over the Colts.
Green Bay over the Colts. Oh, I was gonna pick that one. See how that
you
works?
know, you could have at my spot.
See how that works?
Where I picked it.
I'm taking Baltimore over Tennessee.
Oh God. Okay. I'm taking Browns over the Eagles. And then we can't do Thursday night, right?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I can. All right. I'm gonna take
Seattle.
the Panthers over the Lions.
I'm taking Seattle over Arizona.
You can take. You see, I would have taken that. Oh man, I'm taking Philly over the Browns because I just want the Browns.
Yikes,
to lose.
dude.
All right. You want to talk about a quick Thursday night football preview? The Cardinals.
Let's talk about it.
Getting a field goal in Seattle over under up at 57.
Shelby or Scotty, care to talk about your mans real quick?
I couldn't love Seattle more.
Yeah.
I couldn't love Seattle more.
I know Shelby's bandwagon now.
It's going over 28 in the first half, and it's going over total of the game too.
I like that. Like that.
I wonder if it's moved. Let me look.
It's 57 now in Lawrenceburg.
Okay.
It's 56 right now in our.
Oh, really? Is there juice?
The juice. The juice is.
I haven't refreshed in a long time,
know.
so maybe I'm.
It is.
No,
It's definitely 56.
Is the juice is loose? Do you know what's the vig, bud? What are we at? Minus 120.
Wow, minus 110. You get a full point. I like over there. I like Arizona's team total over. I like Russell Wilson's passing yards under because Pete Carroll said they're going to run the ball more.
And Carlos Hyde is back.
Chris Carson out.
Chris Carson out.
Remember what you asked me last night? You said, Zach, what do you think the final score is? And I said 30-27 Seahawks. And you were the total, and I didn't know what the total was at the time was 57. And you had the team total was what?
Over 27 and a half for Arizona at even money. I was like, "Oh, great! I hope I hope you're wrong as shit."
I stopped betting because I usually am. All right. Anything else on this game tonight?
Is that our show?
That's our show.
Here we go. There's a little place where the sun sleeps late and pulls himself a shot of tequila. It's a little place called Pleasure Island. That's where I'd like to feel ya. easy to find just beyond the last wave, where the dolphins and whales are up mating. Sail all day and all night and then take a hard ride. That's where I'll be awaiting. Pleasure Island, island of pleasure, no need to stop and think. Pleasure Island, a beautiful treasure. Come on down and have a drink.